Greetings and welcome to Tom Blabla Hall of Fame Collectibles and more with our Hall of Fame biography doubleheader today. Episode 320 and episode 321, George WEISS and Mickey Welch. That's going to be our two Hall of Fame biographies today. They're not too long. We are having some fun though. We are going to get through all the Hall of Famers, and then as we have a new class every year, I'll just have to go over that new class and do their biographies also. But we do have over 900, so we do have 9 prizes on the wheel. We will set this off to the side. We do have 958 entries, only 42 more to go for the October-November giveaway. And then we'll start a brand new one right after we do this. So again, this month will fully end at 1,000 entries. Once we hit 1,000 entries, we'll do the giveaway the next day after we make the goal. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get into our... What is this thing doing? Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Close you. I don't want... Come on. Sorry, trying to work. I'm working with my impatient PC. It's been acting funny lately. Know why? You do a refresh here. Well, you let me do anything. It's like frozen in time. It'll wake up. So until then, we'll keep track of how everybody's doing there. Looks like we're about almost 3 minutes into the live. So let me start logging people in here. Let me start. We had God is Great was in here first. Followed by Semi-Truck. Semi-Truck 75. Followed by Sean the Jedi Master. Right, and after Sean to Bernie H. Bernie H. Chuck Nasty Sports. Almost to the 5-minute mark. Bernie, God is great, God is great, God is great. Chuck, God is great. Bernie H. Sean the Jedi Master. Jay's Mix. Need on our Jay's Mix. All right, Bernie J. All right, we are at the 5-minute mark, so end early birds. Okay, I don't know what my computer's doing there. All right, but There we go. All right. So, why did that say 204? I must have, it should click over in a minute here. Should say 205. Now it's at 205. Okay. Just to make it official. Started at 2:05. We get going. We'll go into our trivia for today, this Thursday, November 14th, 2024. We will do our trivia for today. Okay, let me take care of this real quick. Okay. Right. So, how's my wife, Donald? She's doing pretty good. She's doing pretty good. We went to the doctor's or the anticoagulation clinic. It's about a half-hour drive from us, so she could get her blood checked. The blood levels are still doing good, so that's good. She's slowly recovering. She decided to do some baking yesterday, and it just like wiped her out. She was tired by the time the end of the day. She made some Pondasol and some. I'm having one of those senior moments here. It's a little bit doughy bread with meat chopal. Chopal. She made some chopal and some Pondasol, which was real fun. She's going to bring some for our niece. We're going to our niece after my show today to go to visit them. So other than that, she's doing good. I love Pondasol. It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I know you do, Chuck. You ever had the Chopal yet, where it's almost like a Pondasol, but then you have a meat filling on the inside? That's called Chopal, and you steam both of these. You steam the Pondasols to make them puff up and bake like a muffin. It's good with they have a Filipino sandwich spread that you can buy in the Oriental stores. We buy that and put that on with a little slice of cheese, and there you go. You had it yesterday. There we go. We have Pondasol quite a bit. Either we buy it at the Filipino store from the bakery close by, or have fun. Fill with barbecue pork. That's right. Yep, the Chopal is filled with barbecue pork. That's right. It just depends, but yeah, that's really fun. So, oh, I forgot. You know what? We got to get everybody logged in for their one entry for showing up. Okay, 1 plus, 1 plus, 1 plus, 1 plus, 1 plus. So that gets us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 entries. That gets us up to 664, 664, or 964, 964 entries. This next one will be worth 5 points for the trivia. There are 3 correct answers. So if you get all 3 correct answers first, you will get 5 points. If not, whoever gets the most correct will get that many points. So if you only get 2 out of the 3, you'll get 2 points. But if you get all 3 correct answers out of the 4 choices, you will get 5 points. Okay, Siopao is my 3rd favorite Filipino food. There we go. Lumpia is probably in the top 3. Lumpia. And I'm sure you know it by now, but if not, you'll learn it. There are so many different types and forms of lumpia, from fresh lumpia to lumpia French fries, is what my pastor calls them. That's the most common lumpia. But yeah, there's so many types. There's vegetable lumpia. Lumpia is number one, Poncet's number two, and Chopal was number three. I would pretty much agree with you too there, Chuck. I would very much agree with you there. I don't know why this my other computer's still working on it, but I'm not going to worry about it working on it. We're going to get into our trivia and get the show on the road because I do want to finish before 3 o'clock. You know what? I think I am going to bear with me. Oh, it's raining again. Maybe that's why. I'm going to just restart my Filipino hot dogs. Filipino hot dogs are cool. I don't like when they put the Filipino hot dogs in Filipino spaghetti. I like American spaghetti, but I will never turn away from Filipino hot dog spaghetti. That's pretty neat, Chuck. Filipino hot dogs is in fourth place. Yeah, that's probably where I would put it amongst the. My wife makes sinigang. That is an awesome soup, especially for wet, rainy weather like it is kind of now. So, other than that, let's get into our trivia real quick for Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Okay. Our baseball birthdays for today, Thursday, November 14th, are Kurt Schilling, Willie Hernandez, Jenny Pearsall, and Ken Buttonfield. Okay. And here comes our trivia. They're amazing. They taste 1,000 times better than American hot dogs. I would agree with that to a point of I'd rather have an all beef American hot dog. But yeah, my wife's got me on a craze of, and my wife only likes to take a couple of them. So when we get a package of hot dogs, I get to volunteer and finish off the package. Sometimes when she makes her Filipino French fried fish and stuff like that I don't really enjoy that much, I'll have a Filipino hot dog or two to just fill that empty spot. All beef is my favorite. Yep, there we go, Sean. All right, so did you know? Did you know? So who did Justin Verlander pass in strikeouts during the 2022 season? Who did Justin Verlander pass in strikeouts during the 2022 season? Is it A, Pedro Martinez? Is it B, Bob Gibson? Is it C, Steve Carlton? Or is it D, Ferguson Jenkins? Again, there's 4 possible answers. 3 of them are correct. Now I'm hungry. I know what you mean. That's why I did eat lunch before I came and did the show today. So, again, did you know? Who did Justin Verlander pass in strikeouts during the 2022 season? A, Pedro Martinez. B, Bob Gibson. C, Steve Carlton. And D, Ferguson or Fergie Jenkins. Okay, let's see. So 2 people so far. 3 people now so far have gotten 2 correct. So it will be whoever was the first one to get 2 correct if nobody gets all 3 correct. Okay. So, and I will wait. Sean the Jedi Master. Okay. Sean the Jedi Master, you got it correct with A, B, and D. So you get the 5 points. You get the 5 points. All right. So it says, did you know? Who did Justin Verlander pass in strikeout during the 2022 season? It was A, Pedro Martinez, B, Bob Gibson, and D, Fergie Jenkins. It says on the back, A, B, and D. When Verlander got his 3,118th strikeout on July 16, he passed Martinez, Gibson, and Jenkins, and he finished the season with 3,198. So there's our trivia for today, this Thursday, November 14th, 2024. Congratulations there, Sean the Jedi Master, for getting that one correct. Okay, let's see here. All right, we've got. I had to wake my computer back up by restarting it. Maybe it'll work better, but I don't need it for now. But we won't get going. So we're going to do two again today. I'm going to put this away for now because we don't need that now. We won't be getting to the 1,000 today, most likely. But we're going to do George Martin WEISS, followed by Michael Francis Welch, the Smiling Mickey. He's commonly known as Mickey Welch. That's why I kind of had him listed in there that way. So we will do George WEISS first. Master builder of championship teams, was club executive in minors and majors from 1919 to 1966. Developed best minor league chain in game as a New York Yankee farm manager, 1932 to 1947. General manager of the Yankees from 1947 to 1960, which won 10 pennants and 7 World Series during this period. President of the New York Mets in 1961 to 1966. So that is our first Hall of Famer we're going to do here. George Martin WEISS was born June 23rd, 1894. And passed away on August 13th, 1972, at the age of 78. He was an American professional baseball executive elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1971. WEISS was one of the Major League's most successful farm system directors and general managers during his 29-year tenure with the New York Yankees. Working as the head of the Yankees player development system, from 1932 to 1947. He established it as one of the 2 best in the game, helping the Bronx Bombers win 9 American League pennants and 8 World Series championships over 16 seasons. Then during Weiss's 13 full years as the Yankees general manager, from October 1947 to October 1960, the team won 10 AL pennants and 7 more World Series titles, compiling a regular season winning percentage of .622 with 1,243 wins and 756 losses. He later became the first club president of the New York Mets from 1961 to 1966, after that expansion franchise was formed. Early life and career. WEISS was born in New Haven, Connecticut, and attended Yale University for a year before dropping out to help run his family's grocery store. In 1915, at the age of 20, he founded the New Haven Max Feds in the Independent Colonial League, an outlaw minor league associated with the Federal League. In 1919, Weiss borrowed $5,000 to acquire the New Haven franchise and the established Class A Eastern League. His team was immediately nicknamed the Weissmen by the local baseball writers. He operated the New Haven club, eventually nicknamed the Profs, in tribute to Yale for a decade. It won 3 league championships between 1920 and 1928. In 1930, Weiss took over the front office of the Baltimore Orioles of the Class AA International League for 2 seasons. Okay, this one, this one. As far as his early life and career, Weiss was born in New Haven, Connecticut, and attended Yale University for a year before dropping out to help run his family's grocery store. In 1915, at age 20, he founded the New Haven Max Feds in the Independent Colonial League, an outlawed minor league associated with the Federal League. In 1990, Weiss borrowed $5,000 to acquire the New Haven franchise in the established Class A Eastern League. His team was immediately nicknamed the Weissmen. Weiss took over the front office of the Baltimore Orioles of the Class A AA International League for 2 seasons, then on to the New York Yankees farm system director. Get that up there. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once here. In 1932, at 37, he was hired by the Yankees owner, Jacob Rupert, and general manager Ed Barrow to build up the club's farm system, a concept that had been pioneered in the National League by the St. Louis Cardinals and was the linchpin of the Cardinals' dominance of the senior circuit. Weiss grew the Yankee system from 4 farm teams in 1931 to 16 by 1939. Then, after a 4-year retrenchment caused by World War II, to 20 by 1947. Headed by the Yanks' longtime top affiliate, the Newark Bears, and Kansas City Blues. It churned out many of the players who would lead the Bombers to 15 World Championships through 1958, including skeins of 4, 1936-9, and 5 in 1949-53. Straight World Series triumphs. The Weiss farm system produced 3 Hall of Famers, Yogi Berra, Joe Jordan, and Phil Rizzuto. Joe DiMaggio was acquired directly from the independently owned San Francisco Seals of the Pacific Coast League, as well as longtime stalwarts such as Hank Bauer, Tiny Bonham, Hank Borowy, Bobby Brown, Spud Chandler, Jerry Coleman, Charlie Keller, John Murphy, Joe Page, Vic Raschi, and Red Rolfe. The 1937 Bears, 3rd, and the 1939 Blues, 12th, have been ranked among the top dozen clubs in minor league history. Okay, let's see. Nope, don't need that one. We can restore those. Hopefully it'll bring my. There we go. Yep, it's working on it. Weiss was retained and named a club vice president by the Yankees' new ownership triumvirate, Larry McPhail, Dan Topping, and Del Webb, when they purchased the team in early 1945. He then served under the new owners for 3 full seasons as World War II ended and baseball entered a post-war boom. Okay. As both club president and general manager, McPhail was the dominant figure in the Yankees' post-war hierarchy on October 6, 1947, hours after the Yankees won the seventh and deciding game of the 1947 World Series. MacPhail, a notorious drinker with a combustible temper, unexpectedly announced his resignation from both front office posts during the victory festivities. In a drunken state, he confronted several officials at the celebration, including both Weiss and Topping. Weiss was sitting at a banquet table with his wife when MacPhail loudly and abruptly fired him as the Yankees farm system director. Topping, upon being berated by MacPhail, grabbed him, escorted him to a nearby room, and calmed him down, while Webb, who had witnessed MacPhail's tantrum, assured Weiss he would remain with the team. The outburst ended MacPhail's baseball career. The next day, October 7th, Topping and Webb bought out his one-third share in the Yankees and promoted Weiss to vice president and general manager. Okay, let's see here. We gotta get on the right boat here. Okay. General manager. Almost there. Hold on. Should be this guy, right? Yeah. All right. I think we're finally caught up, so I can keep an eye on the chat now. Although Topping succeeded MacPhail as club president for all intents and purposes, Weiss became the operating head of the franchise. Topping and Webb largely left day-to-day operations in Weiss's hand. In his first major trade as general manager in February 1948, he acquired left-handed pitcher Eddie Lopat from the Chicago White Sox for three players, including former starting catcher Aaron Robinson. Lopat would win 113 games for the Yanks in his 7.5 years in the Bronx. After the 1948 Yankees finished third, Weiss fired manager Bucky Harris and replaced him with the veteran former National League skipper Casey Stengel. The 58-year-old Stengel had never produced a first division team in 9 attempts and the Yankee farm system produced two more Hall of Famers early in Weiss's GM tenure, Whitey Ford and Mickey Mantle, and continued to contribute key members of their 50s team. When it began to falter somewhat in mid-decade, Weiss swung a series of multiplayer trades with second division teams, first with Baltimore Orioles and then frequently with Kansas City Athletics, to keep the Bombers at the forefront of their league. These transactions netted Yankees top players such as Bob Turley, Don Larson, Bobby Shantz, Art Ditmar, Ryan Duran, Ralph Terry, Cleve Boyer, and Hector Lopez. But they also began to struggle in World Series play, losing to Brooklyn in 1955 and the Milwaukee Braves in 1957. In 1959, they won only 79 of 154 games and fell all the way to third behind the White Sox and Indians. It was the only season during Weiss's time as general manager in which the Bombers failed to win at least 92 games. Okay, let me get this up. Get that on there. It looks like I see 6 thumbs up. Bernie H is here. Welcome, Sean. Sean the Jedi. Process of elimination. Okay, I think I've got everything there now. Catch up with the live chat. He responded by acquiring outfielders Roger Maris from Kansas City in a 7-player transaction in December of 1959. A 25-year-old budding star, Maris would win back-to-back American League Most Valuable Player awards in 1960 and 61, and in the latter year smashed 61 home runs in his record-setting chase of Babe Ruth's single-season mark. But by the 1961 season, WEISS was gone from the Yankees. Front office. After Maris helped the 1960 club return to the top of the American League standings, they were again defeated in that year's World Series, this time by the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the days following the World Series, both Stengel and Weiss were forced into retirement. A longtime assistant, Roy Hamey, succeeded Weiss as general manager, and the Yankees then won 4 more pennants in succession, along with the 1961 and 1962 World Series. Yoda, Papa, Vintage Americana, 2 days in a row I'm here. You're breaking a record there, David. Appreciate you stopping by and paying us a visit. I know you really miss baseball. Maybe not the card side of it, but I know you like baseball. And I know you always have. Yoda, how is the... I'll let Yoda explain that one to you there. That is great. Then on to the New York Mets. Weiss and Stengel both ended up with the Mets, set to return National League Baseball to New York City in 1962, 4 seasons after the departure of the Dodgers and New York Giants for California. Weiss named president and de facto general manager of the Mets in March of 1961, and Stengel followed as a manager in 1962 in the expansion draft. Weiss selected a roster composed largely of veterans who had played for and against the New York editions of the Dodgers Giants, including Gil Hodges, Roger Craig, Don Zimmer, Gus Bell, Ed Boucher, and Javi Landreth. He supplemented those draft players by acquiring a former Brooklyn star, Duke Snider, Charlie Neal, Clem Levine, and Billy Lowe's, and veterans Richie Ashburn, Frank Thomas, Gene Wooding, and ex-Yankee prospect Marv Thornberry, among many others during the 1962 and 63 seasons. The on-field results were historically poor. The 1962 Mets put up the worst record with 40 and 120 in recent MLB history, and the 1963, 64, and 65 teams lost 111, 109, and 112 games respectively. The Mets farm system was slow to contribute useful players. By opening day 1966, it had yielded Cleon Jones, Ed Kranepool, Tug McGraw, and John Swadobo, and Bud Harrelson. But only Jones and Kranepool saw service before 1965. Weiss also passed on Reggie Jackson in the 1966 Major League Baseball draft instead of selecting Steve Chilcott. In his 5 seasons as general manager, the Mets escaped last place in the National League in only Weiss's last year. They compiled a composite of 260 to 547 with a .322 percentage. He retired at age 72 on November 14, 1966, and was succeeded by former Cardinal GM Bing Devine. But despite their poor play, the Mets established a dedicated fan base from their first season in existence, and when they left the dilapidated Polo Grounds for the new home, Shea Stadium, in 1964, they outdrew the pennant-winning Yankees 1.73 to 1.3 million fans. They would dominate the New York baseball attendance since 1976 when their American League rivals moved into a renovated Yankee Stadium and won the pennant. As far as later life and legacy, in just a minute here, let me get a sip of water. Oh yeah, I know. I've been noticing you, dear Guru. I've been noticing your channel. Yeah, I'm still probably hanging about where I was when you used to watch me on a regular basis. 1,340. I don't know if I'll ever reach 2K, and it doesn't matter to me if I do or not. Um, Hello from the kids. Oh, tell them hello. Pretty soon we're going to be looking at some Christmas cards. Some Christmas cards. I'm waiting for a case to come in. Some couple of the people that help me on my Facebook group are sending me a case of mega boxes. I think there's 20 boxes in the case, so I'll have not lots of nice Christmas baseball cards to go through soon. As soon as we get to that. So, later in life and his legacy, Weiss was named the Sporting News Executive of the Year in 1950, 51, 52, and 60. In 1971, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, one of 7 selected for that year's honor. All of the inductees had been selected by the Veterans Committee. No players were elected through the regular voting process of the Baseball Writers Association of America. Weiss died in Greenwich, Connecticut at the age of 78 in 1972, and Stengel lamented his death, saying, "George's death is a tough thing on baseball. He was successful and great and capable in every way, shape, and form. He was a terrific mixer, but George sure knew how to pick men. Why, you can't stay in baseball that long by pulling players out of an icebox." Yogi Berra said that Weiss could be difficult to deal with, but he praised the emotion that Weiss brought to the game as well as his understanding of the importance of scouting. He was inducted into the New York Mets Hall of Fame in 1982. With the debut of Elston Howard on April 14, 1955, that's the year my wife was born, the Yankees became the 6th of the 8 American League teams and the last of New York City's three big league clubs to break the baseball color line. According to the book Yogi Berra, Eternal Yankee, Weiss at a cocktail party stated loudly that he would never allow a black man to wear a Yankee uniform. Huh. The Yankees farm system had in place a policy preventing black players from reaching the major league club. According to the book, however, Howard, the first African American Yankee, was stitched from an outfielder to a catcher, the position at which it would be least likely to break into the major league club, given Berra's presence. Conflicting opinions have since been expressed about the reasons behind the Yankees' relative tardiness in integrating their playing roster. In their 2016 book, George Weiss, architect of the Golden Age Yankees, authors Burton A. and Benita W. Boxerman devote a full chapter to the issue and explore some of the motivations that have been attributed to Weiss, both during and after his career. They write, even though the delay in integrating the Yankees was likely a combination of factors, including financial success, outstanding performance, unproductive scouts, and possibly the owner's bias against Negroes. It was Weiss, the chief decision maker in the system, who was responsible for the lack of black Yankee Did deep personal bigotries drive the decisions to delay integrating the Yankees as long as he could? Writers such as Roger Kahn and David Haberstam have called him vicious and unable to empathize with any players, especially Negroes. It seemed a much more probable scenario that Weiss's true reason was pretty much that he declared when he was asked to point blank why there were no black Yankees, namely that he was determined to choose a black player who would fit the Yankee mold. On a contrary note, Steve Goldman, writing in the SB Nation Yankee Community Pinstripe Alley in April of 2013, said that Weiss clung to the excuse of so many clubs. We're not going to promote just anyone to the majors because they happen to be black. We're holding out for someone special. By that standard, of course, the only black Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig was going to get the call. So there you have it. That is George Weiss's biography as a baseball Hall of Famer. All right, he was born again June 23rd, 1984, New Haven, Connecticut. He died August 13th, 1972, at the age of 78 in Greenwich, Connecticut. He was a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, inducted in 1971, and the election method was the Veterans Committee. Hopefully you enjoyed that George Weiss biography. Okay, we're going to put him off to the side now as we get ready to do our second Hall of Famer for today. All right, let me pop into the chat real quick here and get caught up. Right, sorry, I didn't know her. What's that? You, Bernie, hello. All right, I already responded to that. You're not supposed to tell a lady's age, Tom. Oh, I know. But if something came up with 1958, I would say that's the year that I was born, and I've done that in the past too. But that's okay. I understand. At Bernie H., all my cards were donated to my church to build a new church. 500,000 cards. From what they said, they were on the way to Kansas to be sold and in some cases have key cards stabbed and grabbed. That's a very awesome thing to do, Gabriel. At Bernie, it was like I was just hoarding them, so I did it for the Lord. There you go there, David. That's a good remedy to the cause. All right. So let me get in here. We're going to get into Mickey Welch's biography next. We're going to do Mickey Welch here next. All right. Okay, come on. No, I didn't want to zoom. I just want to be normal. There, okay. No full screen. Go to normal size. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do Michael Francis Welch. Some know him as Smiling Mickey. He was with Troy in the National League in 1880 to 1882, and New York in the National League 1883 to 1892. Credited with more than 300 victories during 13 seasons in the majors. Won 17 games in a row in 1885 while compiling a 44 and 11 record for league leading 800 winning percentage, topped 30 victories total in 4 years. So, boom, he had 30 wins 4 years in a row. All right, so Michael Francis Welch, born July 4th, 1859, passed away on July 30th, 1941, at the age of 82. Nicknamed Smiling Mickey, was an American Major League Baseball pitcher. He stood 5'8" tall and weighed 160 pounds. He was the third pitcher to accumulate 300 victories. Welch was born in Brooklyn, New York, and played 13 seasons in the major leagues, 3 with the Troy Trojans and 10 with the New York Gotham's Giants. He was very successful with an effective curveball, a change of pace, and a version of the screwball. During his 13 major league seasons, he posted 20 or more wins 9 times, 7 in succession. As far as his early life, Welch was born Michael Francis Walsh in the 18th Ward of Brooklyn, New York, to Irish immigrant parents, John and Mary Walsh. He later adopted the last name Welch, perhaps spurred by a sports writer's mistaken recording of his name in a box score, and to distinguish himself from the many men in Brooklyn at the time named Michael Walsh. Off the baseball field, Welch used his birth name throughout his life. Welch's nickname of Smiling Mickey derived from his cheerful disposition. When he was growing up in Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, baseball was the popular sport among Irish children. Welch recalled that he had to learn different baseball skills because of his small size. He depended on strong control of his pitches, a good curveball, and a change of pace, a studious approach to opposing batters. As far as his major league career, his early career, Welch's earliest professional baseball engagement was in Poughkeepsie, New York, as an outfield pitcher for the Volunteers Baseball Club in 1877. And in the following year, he would briefly play for a club in Auburn before going to the Holyoke Shamrocks of the National Association during the 1879 season with the Shamrocks. His pitching would be credited to their 23-14 record, during which he supported. Why is that keep on? All right, let me do a refresh here. Okay. By the likes of latter MLB players Roger Connor, Larry Cochran, Jerry Dorgan, Peter Gillespie, and Fergie Malone. In 1880, Welch made his major league debut in 1880. His first game was not very successful, as Troy was defeated 13-1 by the Worcester Ruby Legs. However, he won 34 games for the Troy Trojans team, up with Tim Keefe, to give Troy a devastating 2-man starting rotation. On July 6, 1880, he pitched a one-hitter against the Cleveland Blues. Welch's totals dipped during the following 2 seasons, when O'Keefe, who also went on to win more than 300 games, began getting a greater share of the starts. The duo would only enjoy moderate success over the course of 3 seasons with the Trojans, a team that never finished higher than 4th in National League in its 4-season run. After the Trojans disbanded after the 1882 season, the New York Gothams replaced them, taking many of the Troy players, including Welch, and he resumed a heavy workload in 1883, throwing 426 innings in 54 games. This time he split pitching duties with John Montgomery Ward. In what turned out to be Ward's final season as a regular pitcher. In 1884, he went 39-21 with 345 strikeouts, a franchise record, and a 2.5 ERA. As far as his strikeout record, 1 second, let me clean this up a little bit. All right. Refresh the chat here real quick. And we'll get back into the biography. Okay. Do it right first, or just take. Oh, there we go. Okay. So only 3 pitchers in National League and 2 in the American League have come close to matching Mickey Welch's record, 9 strikeouts in the National League. Germain Marquez of the Colorado Rockies on September 26, 2018, and Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets in 2014, and Jim DeShields of the Houston Astros in 1986 struck out the first 8 batters they faced. In the American League, Carlos Rodon of the Chicago White Sox in 2016 and Joe Cowley of the Chicago White Sox in 1986 struck out the first 7 batters they faced. Tom Seaver struck out 10 consecutive batters in 1970, though not at the beginning of a game. As far as his middle career, in 1885, he went 44-11 with 258 strikeouts and a 1.66 ERA in the 1885 season. Well, and Keefe reunited as a 2-man pitching rotation, with Keefe having 32 wins, 13-loss record. The team, now called the Giants, had an incredible record of 85-27, with Welch winning 17 consecutive games at one point, but finished second in the Chicago White Stockings, who finished with a record of 87-25. Welch negotiated a clause in his contract beginning in 1884 that prevented the team from pitching him more than every other day. After the 1885 season, Welch was one of 9 Giants players to form the baseball's first union, which was known as the Brotherhood of Professional Baseball Players. The players were upset about the way they had been treated by baseball owners. The reserve clause, which restricted player movement and tempered increases in player salaries, had been instituted in 1880. The union spent the next several years recruiting new members, talking about the cause of players' salaries. Though Welch was still an active player, he began saving money with the goal of opening a hotel. In 1886, Welch won 33 games, which was second on the Giants to Keefe's 44 victories. In spite of his win total from Welch and Keefe, the team fell to 3rd place in the league, though they enjoyed a 47-12 record at the Polo Grounds. They were 28-32. While on the road that year, Keefe and Welch were so overworked by 1887, the Giants picked up young pitchers Bill George and Liddell Titcomb. Both of them struggled, and the Giants finished 4th. Later in his career, some credited Welch with becoming the first pinch hitter in Major League history when he batted for Hank O'Day and struck out on September 10, 1889. However, a ruling allowing pinch hitters in non-injury situations was not instituted until 1892. The first pinch hitter under that rule was generally agreed to be Jack Doyle on June 7, 1892. The Giants won the 1889 series, but morale was low on the club, and relationships had become strained between players and owners across the league. The league was planning to implement a system of player ratings, which would be used to determine player salaries. Welch and the other members of the Brotherhood were outraged by such a system, and they began a plan a new baseball league, inviting players to join even if they were not Brotherhood members. The new 8-team league became known as the Players' League. Before the Players' League began its 1890 season, Welch realized that he was coming to the end of his playing career, saying that he was in baseball to earn money. Welch agreed to re-sign with the Giants on a 3-year contract. Welch said he had been willing to accept $2,000 less to play in the Players' League, but that the deal fell through, and when the league could only guarantee 1 year of salary, he met with sharp criticism from Jim O'Rourke and the other Brotherhood members, but the Players' League lasted only one season. On April 24th, 1890, the score tied 2 in the seventh inning between the Giants and the Boston Beaneaters, Welch got into an argument with the umpire McDermott and argued that result in the umpire declaring the game forfeited to host Boston. With Welch and O'Keefe still on the same club, the 1891 New York Giants had two 300-game winners until the 1980s. This was the only time that a major league team featured two pitchers with 300 wins each. After one start in 1892 season, Welch was sent to the minor leagues, earning a 16-14 record and a .0.87 ERA for the Eastern League's Troy Trojans. He retired from baseball after the season, having compiled 307 victories, 210 losses, 1,850 strikeouts, and a career 2.71 ERA. As of 2015, Welch ranks third on the all-time list of career wild pitches. 93 doubles, 16 triples, and 12 home runs. In addition to his 607 games pitched, Welch made 59 career appearances as an outfielder, which attributed to his durability and his ability to get hitters out with slower pitches. His main offerings to hitters were a curveball and a screwball. Okay, let me check up here. Go Alex. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So as far as his personal life, Arthur David Fleet writes that Welch did not swear, smoke, or drink hard liquor. Welch liked beer enough that he would write poems about it, reciting them for sports writers or for fans on the carriage ride to the ballpark on game days. Sometimes his poetry also advertised local bars and restaurants. He did not drink nearly as much as many of his contemporary ball players. Giants ballboy Fred Engels speculated that this was because Welch had been seen too many ball players fall prey to alcoholism. Welch and his wife Mary had 9 children, 2 of whom died in infancy. Mary died in 1936. During his career, Welch, along with most of his Giants teammates, lived at New York's Broadway Central Hotel. After baseball, after retiring as a player, Welch lived in Holyoke, Massachusetts. He joined the Elks Lodge and remained in the organization for more than 50 years. He owned a saloon for a while and after that sold it and went into the dairy business with one of his sons. Welch spent summers in New York and he worked as an attendant at the Polo Grounds. In 1911 book on baseball history, Welch described as the owner of a hotel in Troy, New York. In 1912, he returned to New York, serving as an usher at the Polo Grounds and captivating fans with tales of his playing days. Welch and O'Keefe remained friends long after they retired from baseball. In 1941, Welch had been staying with his grandson, in Nassau when he had to be taken to a Concord hospital with complications of gangrene of the foot. He died there on July 30th at the age of 82 and was interred in Section 4, Range 17, Plot 2, Grave 6 of the Calvary Cemetery in Woodside, Queens, New York, under his birth name of Walsh. Welch was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee in 1973, and he was represented at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony by his elderly daughter, Julia WEISS. So there you go. Hall of Famer Mickey Welch, again, was a pitcher born July 4th, 1859, Brooklyn, New York, in the United States. He died July 30th, 1941, at the age of 82 in Concord, New Hampshire. He batted right through right. His MLB debut May 1st, 1880 for the Troy Trojans. His last MLB appearance May 17th, 1892 for the New York Giants. His MLB statistics, his win-loss record for his career is 307 wins, 210 losses. His earned run average, 2.71. Strikeouts, 1,850. Statistics at Baseball Reference. Teams he played for, again, were the Troy Trojans, 1880 to 1882, and the New York Giants, 1883 to 1892. He's a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame, inducted in 1973 by the vote of the Veterans Committee. So there you have our second Hall of Famer for today and final content for this stream, Michael Francis Welch. Okay, put these aside here. We will be doing two more Hall of Fame biographies for tomorrow, for our Friday. That will be episode 322 and 323, which will be Willie Wells and Zachariah D. Wheat. Okay, that will be our two Hall of Famers for tomorrow. Just a heads up, I'm going to try and make it by 2 o'clock. Okay, I will try and make it by 2 o'clock. We have a luncheon we're going to tomorrow. So I'm hoping I'll be back in time, but it should be no later than 3 p.m. I'm probably going to change my schedule online for 3, but just in case I don't, if I do get back in time, I'll update it real quick on the computer. I can change the date and we'll change it back to 2 o'clock if I have time. Okay, but without further ado, I'm going to end for today. I'm still here. Me too. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to do our end of stream entries for those that are here for the end of stream. Let's see, Yoda Papa Vintage. I got Jay's mix. Let's put in Yoda. Vintage Americano. All right. So let me go in here for the 2-minute warning. Okay. That'll be at 3:04, so 3:06 we'll end it. Chuck's here. We'll get Chuck a bonus entry. Who else is here? I know Yoda's here. Go get an entry. Jay's mix here. Get an entry. Anybody else still hanging out with us? Good night, Bernie. Okay, have a great evening now, everybody. Another great Hall of Fame biography stream as always. Thank you there, Bernie. Got you logged in, Bernie. Is God is great here. And Semi Truck God is great. And semi-truck, we got 5 people in here. We got 6 thumbs up. We're moving right along here. Okay. As soon as I see that 306, I'll end it here. We got Jay's Mix, Chuck Nasty, Chuck's here, Bernie's here. Where is God and got it? Is God is great still hanging out in here? God is great. You gotta say hi to get your last entry to get 2 entries for today. Okay. Gonna get ready here and then I'm gonna hit the enter button in just a second here as soon as my computer says 306. And then we will finish things up for today. So, so let's see. No God is great. No semi truck. Yoda wasn't here for the beginning, but he got here for the end. Actually, I'll give it to you there, Yoda. I'll give you the 2. All right. He's still here. All right. That ends the 2-minute warning for the end of stream. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to do my signature sign off. Let me change the camera here so you guys can see me. All right. This is Don Blomdahl, Hall of Fame veterans, sports cards, and more. Yep, I got my winter look going on here. Got my winter look. Of course, it's been a while since you guys probably saw me. I do have hair. Imagine that. I do have hair, but I do wear my hat so you can't necessarily tell if I'm bald or not. But oh, God is great is here. He's chiming in. I think we got everybody now except for semi truck. Semi truck must have taken off already. He probably said goodbye earlier. Right? But this has been Don Blomdahl, Hall of Fame collectibles and more with our Hall of Fame biography episode 320 and 321. George Weiss and Mickey Welch. And tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, Friday. Probably most likely 3 o'clock. If I get back earlier, I'll try and do it before 3. Just keep that in mind. Be on standby. Your alert should go off when I do go live. So you should get an alert. I know it's been working for most people, but you can see my schedule on my YouTube homepage of all my live streams coming up. So the Fu Manchu is looking good, Donald. I'll laugh out loud. The Fu Manchu. You like that, huh? But we'll see. Doing this until my wife can get everything taken care of for herself, with her heart, with her brain, and all that stuff. And appreciate all the prayers you guys give us, okay? So until then, we will see you all tomorrow. And as always, be blessed. Y'all take care and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time-ish, same bat channel. Take care.